Hey buddies, Miss Pugly here, coming at you with another Borderlands 3 video. Today we're actually going to be doing a Moze build, and this Moze build is absolutely insane. This Moze build uses the new DLC 4 class mod Flare to increase our damage to heights unknown. It's absolutely crazy. This build is the ultimate bear / on foot Moze build. Now what Flare does is it increases our damage by 2 times depending on how much duration R has. So the less duration we have with Iron Bear, the less damage we start to do. Let me just show you the weapons that we use real quick. Since we're trying to do a 50-50 combination of bear / Moze on foot, what we like to do is use a light show pistol with consecutive hits build and use a Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge consecutive hits, so our damage just constantly goes up really fast. We use also short fuse to increase our damage by exponential amounts every single time we get it to proc. Does crazy amounts of more damage. We got lots of points in our skill tree, but I'll show you more of it later. We also increase our damage with the Old God to increase our damage by the extra 20%. So what you want to do with this build is you actually want to go into Iron Bear immediately and just start shooting people with your railgun, doing tons and tons of millions of damage right at the bat. And whenever you feel like you're comfortable, just jump out of the Iron Bear and just start gunning people down with any light show pistol we have. We have 3 elements, shock, corrosive, and fire, to deal crazy amounts of damage. You want to get right into their face so you can get the consecutive hits to boost your damage to high numbers. This build is a little bit risky because we are using Thin Red Line to decrease our maximum HP for more shields, but we only do that for the Desperate Measures ability as well to increase our damage by a lot more. So oftentimes you'll go right into the fray and like get down and then immediately second wind it up because Iron Bear is just dishing out tons and tons of damage to whichever enemy he wants to target. Now you don't have to jump out of Iron Bear right off the bat because what we're using is a flare with 5 points into Stainless Steel Bear, which increases our maximum fuel by 40%, our armor by 60%, and our damage by 40%. So you can stay in Iron Bear as long as you want. You'll be in Iron Bear for a surprisingly long time, a lot longer than you would think for a flare build. It just lets you deal crazy amounts of damage with Iron Bear. You can just go around the map just killing everything. I'll oftentimes kill an entire round on the Bloody Shaft without going out of Iron Bear, but what I like to do is get out of Iron Bear once I see the bar getting down to the middle phase, because once we get to there, we use our Anointment on our Old God shield. After exiting Iron Bear, kills increases Iron Bear's cooldown rate by 30%. This allows us to instantly get Iron Bear back really fast, because not only are you killing enemies really fast, but Iron Bear is also doing that, so your cooldown just gets brought back up really fast. Even if for some reason Iron Bear does get destroyed, you'll often see your cooldown will start increasing exponentially because of how fast you can kill people with this build. Also, what is really fun that you can do, you can exit Iron Bear, equip our Trick Unforgiven that we have here with 432% more critical hit damage. It also has the Anointment, kills increases Iron Bear's cooldown rate, but you can hop into Iron Bear's turret and just start blasting away on people, and the critical hit bonus actually allows you to deal lots more damage than you normally would with the turret and increase your cooldown rate by a ton really fast. So if you're not exiting Iron Bear in the middle of the gauge, you can actually exit Iron Bear when it's like super low and then go into the Trick Unforgiven and just blast people away in the turret, and you'll get your cooldown really quickly back up. We also use the It's Piss grenade, which increases, the damage we deal to enemies. We have the Anointment on it while Iron Bear is active. Taking damage has a 20% chance to spawn a grenade, and that is very useful for survivability of Iron Bear because we have Vampire. Vampire increases our HP by, a percentage of missing health that we have, and returns it to Iron Bear or you, and it allows you to just survive with Iron Bear really easily. You often see the grenade being tossed out of you really quickly, and if they're for some reason dealing a lot of damage to you, that grenade will just heal you by a significant amount, so you won't get downed as fast as you would if you were on foot. A very important kill skill with this build is the Drowning in Bass. Now that increases our gun damage by 20% per stack, and you'll see while you're in Iron Bear blasting away at all the fools around you, just increase from like 15 million to 20 million to 30 million to 40 million. It just gets to really high numbers. I think I even saw it once get to 100 million, but that was when I got to max stacks of Drowning and Bass, which you don't need to be really conscious of. You just need to kill enemies. So that's a very brain dead skill we have on there. Allows us to just increase our damage as you're killing enemies. Of course, it's not that useful during bosses because, you know, not a lot of ads spawn on certain bosses, so it's kind of situational in there. An excellent part of the light show pistol we have is the Cloud of Lead. Cloud of Lead has a chance for our shots to not consume ammo on every 4th shot. So at the moment our magazine is 45, but it's actually a total of like 56 if you want to think it that way, because, you know, every 4th shot you don't consume ammo. If you do a little bit of math, you'll realize, but let's not focus on the math. If you do go and fight for life and Iron Bear's just not doing it for you, you can actually just shoot all your pistol ammo immediately and then switch to your next light show, because we have 3 different light shows on this build. So you have shock, corrosive, and fire. So once you're done with shock, you could switch to fire. Once you're done with fire, you could switch to corrosive. And once you're done, the enemy's dead. But if you don't get lucky, you know, you can switch to the second one or third one. And the second one, it's like almost a guaranteed. And if you're just really bad at aiming, the third one is a guaranteed, I hope, for you. But, you know, there's always a chance that you don't kill the enemy because, you know, there's always different situations in the game. The artifact we use is, like I said before, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. Now, we have the stats, magazine size, and fire rate to, you know, allow us to deal more damage on foot. The fire rate increases our DPS, and the magazine size just allows us to have a constant uptime on being able to shoot enemies, so that's very, very useful. Doing anything special on my Mayhem mode, I'm actually not using the preferred Mayhem mode modifiers, like a very hard modifier here. Critical hit damage is reduced by 75%. That's not optimal at all because you kind of want to be crit shotting people. None of the modifiers really matter that much. Maybe you could get Galaxy Brain so you get more critical hits. Don't worry about the Mayhem modifiers. It's not a Mayhem modifier crucial build. You don't need a specific modifier to make this build good. Now what this build does the best is sustained damage. It doesn't do crazy amounts of burst damage. As you see here, I'm killing Grave Ward right now, and you don't see his health immediately going down to 0. With, say, our Zane build, we were able to kill him instantly, like a full magazine, and even on our Flak Peregrine build, we are able to kill him a lot faster than we are here. So this build really does great on everything besides the Grave Ward. If you want to farm the Grave Ward, don't use this build. But every other boss you can kill very, very easily. You can kill any enemy very, very easily. Any mob you want, any badass. Doesn't matter what type of badass. We killed Wutan very, very easily here in about like 30 seconds. It was super, super easy. We just had to play a little bit risky and jump inside his barrier every once in a while. But otherwise, it was very easy because we just kept our Iron Bear up the entire time, and we never had to exit out of Iron Bear. It only took a maximum of 3 shots to get to his immunity phase. And even in the beginning here, as you see right here, actually get his first health bar down with just on Foot Moze without even summoning the Iron Bear. Now what Flare does is it increases our damage by 2 times depending on how much duration our has. But even without that, we kill Wutan's first health bar very, very easily and whittle away a little bit of his armor health bar as well. As I said briefly before, the main purpose of this class mod and the reason why we have a 50-50 build is because the Flare class mod increases our damage based on Iron Bear duration. So the 2 times multiplier that we get from full Iron Bear duration increases our damage by a crap ton, especially on foot. It allows us to do a ton of damage from the moment we deploy Iron Bear to the moment we exit Iron Bear and maybe redeploy him. That's why I said a little bit earlier is that you kind of want to get in the middle of the duration and then exit, because you lose a lot of damage as the duration goes down. So you don't want to have a downtime of your Iron Bear. You want to have a constant uptime of your Iron Bear. So you always want to have him deployed. So you want to exit it when it's halfway full so you can get a refund on your cooldown, and then start going towards the enemies and just eliminate all of them as you can and get your cooldown back immediately. And as soon as you see Iron Bear get destroyed or you're too far away from him to be helpful, you want to just summon a new one. And our Old God Anointment after exiting Iron Bear kills increase Iron Bear cooldown by 30%. Really helps that. My recommendation is you want to keep your duration as high as possible, because that's when you get the most bang for your butt from the Flare build. Now keep in mind, none of the anointments we have here are important for being in Iron Bear. All the anointments we have on the gun only affect us when we're out of Iron Bear. And like the artifact won't affect Iron Bear's damage at all, besides the stats we have on it. So don't think that you're going to get consecutive hit bonuses while you're in Iron Bear. That does not work. URAD anointment does not work in Iron Bear. Like pretty much most gun anointments do not work in Iron Bear. Don't try to modify this build's anointments and think that you'll increase Iron Bear's damage by an exponential amount, because no specific anointment increases this damage. The main reason why we're able to deal so much damage is just because of the way that Iron Bear's damage gets scaled on the Mayhem level and the level our character is at. There isn't anything in particular that's increasing Iron Bear's damage in our gear slots besides maybe the old gun, because that increases the shock damage by 20%. Our right railgun shoots shock as a chain lightning. Here's our build. We go down the middle in our green tree. We want to primarily get the specialist bear and then switch off and level a different skill tree. Main important part here, blue tree. We want to get short fuse to increase our damage on foot. We want to get auto bear so you can have Iron Bear deal damage while you're on foot as well. You want stainless steel bear so you can constantly have an uptime Iron Bear, because that increases your fuel, and more fuel allows you to increase your uptime for Iron Bear. You want deadlines, that's very important. That gives you fuel back as you kill enemies. We have fire in the skag dens. Nothing that Iron Bear does triggers this except for the corrosive railgun explosion after, I believe, but I'm not 100% certain. The only reason why we have fire in the skag den is because it increases our damage by exponential amounts when we use short fuse, and that short fuse explosion gets a bonus for the fire and skag den. So that's a very important points we want if you're doing on foot. Torque cross promotion increases our splash damage, which is very important when we're on foot. And here is the tree that mainly increases our Iron Bear damage. We have drowning and brass, as I said before. That's very important to increase our Iron Bear damage. Baromental munitions makes our critical hits deal bonus incendiary damage, and desperate measures, which increases Iron Bear's and Moze's gun damage depending on how low your HP is. And since we have 3 points in the thin red line, that increases our gun damage by a crap ton. If you guys are curious on seeing any of my other builds, click up here. We did a Flak Paragon build that allowed us to defeat the Malawan and Guardian takedown without using any bullets, and we also have a Zane build that allows us to freeze anything instantly using the new Hustlers class mod. If you guys want to try this build out, use the save file I have down below. It'll be in the comments and description. I highly recommend trying it out. Pretty much solo any content with it. I haven't had a problem doing any piece of content with this build, and it's just absolutely incredible, and I can't wait for you guys to try it out. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. More in a cave with a torch on a wall than a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.